What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to make some drive shafts for an SCX6 that's being extended 8 inches in rear wheelbase. So I've picked up some steel drive shafts and we're going to modify these to be able to be 14.5 inches long. This is just an Amazon SCX6 drive shaft. So what I've got here is a standard splined drive shaft, and this is the side that we're going to be modifying. Now, the route that I've taken with this before is to add a sleeved section here towards the joint side. So to do that though, I need to remove some spline area so that I can get to it and make a consistent diameter. That's because I'm using some steel tubing with a 1/4 inch ID so that I can then cut this and add the piece in the center, TIG weld it together, finish everything up. So I'm going to get this chucked up in my lathe. Now these joints are not a serviceable joint. These are pressed together. So I need to keep this all together. What we're gonna do is we're gonna chuck the spline end into my collet chuck here. This isn't a standard 3-jaw. This is a specific type of collet that is made for certain diameters. This is an 11 to 12 millimeter collet. You can see I've got all different sizes up there. And that allows me to clamp onto this, splined section that can be a little bit more difficult to use with a standard 3-jaw. But what we do is we just insert that into here, and I'm going to leave a certain length exposed so that I have enough working area, and then we're going to tighten that collet chuck down with a wrench here. So I'm going to get that tightened down first because I need both hands. This is just unsupported. So what I'm going to do is use my support here on the end of my tailstock. We're going to slide this all the way into the back of this. This nut here is already loosened up, so we'll slide this into position. Tighten that nut. Add a little bit of tension. Make sure that's in there, and then we're going to lock it down. It's going to be good enough. Now, since this is an interrupted cut, meaning that we've got, all of those splines and it's pretty rough on inserts. I'm using a button insert to kind of just go through this. Safety gear on, time to start cutting. We're gonna start by getting just closer and closer to the splines, going very slowly back and forth to make sure that we're not gonna just take too deep of a bite into one of these interrupted cuts and break a collet, jam up the machine, anything like that. This is a pretty basic lathe. I've had it for 15 plus years, and it's not the most rigid thing. It's got some play in it here and there, so we're just gonna kind of make our way through this. It's super nice to have one of these machines in the shop, but by no means am I someone who's got this so dialed in and perfect that it'll make a real machinist proud. It's just starting to make contact. Creep in a little bit. Creep in some more. Just going to be a slow process that continues. We're just going to keep going in slowly like that. Check in once I've got a little bit of progress done. I've been creeping in about 3 thou at a time, and I just got in to the first path where it's starting to touch the minor OD of the shaft. So at this point, the cut will continue to get easier and easier because it's a continuous cut rather than an interrupted cut where we keep hitting each one of those teeth, each pass that it goes around. So I'm going to continue to keep going in about 3 thou at a time, and we're going to be checking our diameter each time. I need to get to a 1/4 inch, or 6.32. So right now we're closer to 8.5. So we've got a ways to go to get in there, but we're just going to continue to do this slow cut, kind of eking in to our final dimension. Currently at 6.6, a few more to go. .34, that'll do it. So now that we have that notched down to size, we actually need to cut this in half. So we're gonna take a cutoff wheel and just cut straight in the middle of this section roughly. Now I'm gonna chamfer and clean up the ends of both sides of this. So both of these ends now are ready for the steel sleeve. So this steel tubing is 3/8 of an inch OD with a 1/4 inch ID. And as we just turned these down, this will basically just get a nice little slip fit into each side there. And that is basically what we're going to be doing. Now, this piece of material is 8 inches long. And while I need to extend these 8 inches, I don't want to be so close that I end up binding. So I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch off of the total length of this, because that still puts me well within the full length that I need these drive shafts to be. So I'm going to get these cut down by about 1/4 or about a 1/2 of an inch. For that, I'm using my little bandsaw setup here. This is a Bauer bandsaw on a Swag off-road base to turn it into just a desktop bandsaw. Super handy tool to have. With that cut off now, I'm just gonna put a chamfer on each end of this to get it a little bit better prepped for welding. All right, so now we've got our pieces, we've got our tubing, and these are the fixtures that I've made for the actual process. The design of these is that this is held here, this sits there, and then this tubing basically sits in the middle. So that gives me a little bit of a filleted area to weld in on each side. Now, I need to ground onto the actual steel from one end or the other, and that's what I've got set up here. So I've got my ground clamp, then I run a flexible ground strap onto the actual tubing there. I've got my square here, so I can put one edge of the fixture onto this, make sure that it's in contact, and then this side on contact along that edge. These are not a high-speed unit. They don't have to be. I'm just trying to do the best I can for these. From here, we're going to be using my TIG welder. We're not going to fully weld them out because this is a PLA 3D printed fixture. PLA is what I like to use for 3D printed fixtures because when it gets hot and melts, it comes right off easily. You can do a trick of aluminum foil lining the areas, and that does help. I just didn't. I'm using my Arc Captain 200P AC/DC. But we're just welding in DC mode, so just about any TIG welder will work. For this application, I'm probably gonna hit this at about, I don't know, 65 amps, somewhere in that range. And of course, we're using a pedal so we can fluctuate our amperage. I didn't have enough amperage the first time, turned it up a little bit, helped quite a bit. I am going to pull this out of the fixture, clean the back side, just to make sure that there isn't any PLA on there. Just get it good and clean so we can do a tack on the other side before we do any final welding. I just always want to make sure my prep is good. Obviously we have some PLA on there, but not terrible. A little bit on both sides. With welding, you can get distortion, so I'm just gonna try and eyeball things to keep them as straight as possible. Looking all right. So now I'm going to, told you it's a strong magnet. So now I only weld in those in each side of the fixture one time. So now I'm going to swap them. We're gonna get this reset up and get a tack put on the opposite side. All right, do a quick visual. Looking close enough. After we get it welded, we can do some manual straightening with. I'm going to do some cleanup with the wire wheel on the Milwaukee and make sure that everything is nice and clean in there. And then we'll go in and we'll do a full weld all the way around. We're all set there. I'll do a cleanup on it again and that one will be done. So I chucked it back up in the lathe just so I could spin it up and just see how true it was. Now, it wasn't quite this good, but we persuaded it just to get it into roughly correct alignment. For what we're dealing with, this is perfectly acceptable. So that wraps up that project. Now, I used a lot of tools. Now, you could do this without those tools. It would just either be a little bit more crude or a little bit more work. You could do it with grinders and drill presses or even a regular drill. You could, butt things up together more directly rather than cutting down as much and then sleeving. But that was the way that I wanted to do it. Maybe this was interesting. Maybe it was helpful. Either way, if you enjoyed it, you can hit the like button, subscribe if you want fabrication content around RCs and things like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, all of those good things. Channel membership's available if you're interested in helping support the channel and seeing videos like this early. There's information on that down in the description below. But that is going to do it for this random video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.